Green Cooling scores with the 13 Pro-Am Community Rugby League Show.
Hello, good evening, good morning, good afternoon. Whenever you are listening, you are the most reason that we do what we do. I'm Dave Parkinson. You're listening to the 13 Pro-Am Community Rugby League Show, episode 37 of the season. And we're still here. We've not quite reached the end, but we can see the end in sight. We can nearly smell the time of the grand finals. I'm delighted as ever to be alongside Steve Beech. And Steve, have you dried off from the weekend? I think I've just about managed it.
Let's not mention the weather at the weekend. It was like, I know we were complaining about it the week before when we were at Bentley, but it wasn't biblical proportions this time, but it was
wet,
persistent,
just wet.
Yeah, and it was like that. What we say over this side of the pennant, it was like billing rain.
It wouldn't go away.
It wouldn't, would
it?
It
just stayed overhead and rained for hours and hours. Yes, so it was an interesting weekend. Great day. First visit over to Siddal.
Yeah.
I have to admit, Steve, I loved it. What a great club. And you can see why when we speak to people that are involved down there at the club, why they have been so successful over the last couple of years in the National Conference League. The place is full of winners, for starters. That obviously helps. You know, if you're finishing top of the league, you're not losing very much at all. But really, really good rugby league people. I thoroughly enjoyed the day.
Yeah, beautiful clubhouse as well. I presume it was Yorkshire stone it was made out of. It was absolutely gorgeous.
What a setting. It was like looking over to Emmerdale Hills behind us, wasn't it?
Skemersdale Farm, as they say over there.
Absolutely magnificent.
Yeah, it was very, very nice. And obviously we had a nice gantry to get up onto and do the broadcast from. Not without its issues, as we might say. But
now you did say that you would say that you like this gantry so much that you was going to have a saying about it tonight.
Yes, I think everybody needs to have a look on. I think I've posted a couple of pictures of me and Parky on this gantry. All I can suggest, if you want us to come to your club and do some commentary, if you can possibly get a gantry just like that one, that would be more than ideal. But it was absolutely spot on. It was.
And, you know, from the minute that we got there to the moment that we left, we were looked after, weren't we?
Yeah, it was safe to get onto. It was ideal. You could see. The only thing it didn't have was a roof. And I'm not complaining. I thought it was absolutely spot on. The place as a whole was really good. Nice little cafe come thing that was absolutely buzzing, doing coffees and pies and whatever. Then obviously you got your clubhouse, and there was a bit of Northern Soul banging out with Frank Wilson, Do I Love You, coming out right at the very beginning. Then a bit of Tamla Motor. It was all me then. Me.
Then it became 1990s rave music after every try and
that's
every
right,
goal, which I was back in my element, you know. So you had it early on with your Motown. I then had it later on with the Buzzing dance tracks.
Oh, yeah. What was it? Ease a good.
Ebenezer good. Ease good. Ease good. It's Ebenezer good. But Shaman.
It was really, really good day. Someone said it was only, to use a pun, it was only the rain that put a dampener on things, but it didn't spoil it at all. I've got to say that.
So are we going to come up with a Yorkshire version of that? It were good.
It were good.
It were good.
You want to go back there, so I'd behave.
You know, I do want to go back there. It was a fantastic setting.
Very nice. Very nice.
I can't wait till we get to do another game.
Do you know
down
what?
there. It's
strange, isn't it? Because we go to these clubs that are on the cusp of the Pennines. Because we go to, Saddleworth, we go to obviously Waterhead Warriors and etc.
And I was saying about Oldham St Anne's as well.
Yeah. And you get on just on the other side there. You got Siddal there, absolutely superb views and everything. I mean, if it looks good when it's wet, then it's looking great when the sun's shining, isn't it? You know what I
mean? So, of course, they were up against West Bowling, who finished second in the National Conference. Top against second. The winner was going through to the grand final. So we have a special segment of the show with the best of our commentary. Probably the only bit of commentary that actually survived the weather, as you said, Steve, wasn't without its issues with that broadcast. But, we live and we learn, and we still managed to, I think, put together what is a fantastic highlights reel. We'll get to meet a young lad as part of that as well. And we've got interviews from the winning side to bring you too. We'll also go through what else happened up and down the leagues. It was the finish of both the Division 1 and the Division 2 fixture list. So it means that we're into playoffs from this week on. And we'll try and give you an update on what is happening and who's playing who in them playoffs.
Yeah, it's going to be a good show, I must say. Some good interviews you've got with both Gaz English and Jamie Greenwood after the match on Saturday. It was absolutely spot on.
And I will give him a mention. I had a fantastic half-hour chat with Jake Normington, who's the new chairman over at East Leeds.
Oh yeah,
we're going to carry that as a separate show in itself because it was quite a lengthy interview, and we don't want to distract from it because I thought it was really good to chat with Jake all about the plans that they have for the future there, the season that they've just had, record breaking of course, nearly 1,100 points scored in all the games, going 22 games, winning the lot. Something that hasn't been done since Hunslet back in, I think it was 2018. Absolutely brilliant, and I think
didn't he get in touch with you a week or so about wanting to have a chat? He
did. So I feel it would only be fair to give a full focus on that. So look out for that appearing a little bit later in the week. But back to tonight, and where shall we start? Shall we start with these highlights?
And we certainly should.
Henry Turner plays it, 15 out from his own line. Here comes Conor McCallum. Good run from Conor Mac. 30 metres out from his own line now. Greenwood picks up Milnes. Milnes rolls it forward. Rolled on his back by 3. In and dummy half. Moves. It's out to Greenwood. Greenwood, long ball to the right hand side. Running chance here for Siddal. They're over the halfway line. Kick back towards the middle. It's running on, it'll bounce for Greenwood. Greenwood will go over. Super try there for Siddal. That was wonderful play. Referee checks with his touch judge, gets back and awards the try. But that was a bit of fantastic play. Greenwood touching down. He'll play to Greenwood. Greenwood turns it to Smithies. All wrapped up in the middle of the field. Now ball fed right to Ackroyd. He finds Conor McCallum. McCallum, big strong run. He'll clear the halfway line. He'll do better.
Good drive, good yards.
He'll get 40 metres out from his line. Ball turned back in field. Greenwood launches the boot at it. Was there a late shot there? Referee looks at it. It's taken by Stevenson. The penalty is going to go the way.
Sorry.
What are you sorry for? You didn't put the late hit in.
For me, it wasn't late. I think he knew what he was doing there, and has managed to get the penalty.
Siddal going for goal here, by the way.
I don't blame them.
I think
get the points on the board when you can.
Harvey Williams with this attempt to look to get his second goal between the posts. Steps up. It's a really well built centre. Flags raised. 8 points to 0 is the score.
Yeah.
Dummy half his halm shot. Oh, that was well taken by Galtrus. Galtrus takes it forward himself. He almost had to spin to take that pass in.
Yeah.
Just 3 metres shy of the line. Halmshaw dives.
Has he lost the ball?
He's kept himself low. Ball has gone loose. Referee has ruled that that's a knock on, even though Galtrus picked up the pieces and touchdown. Defence is on top here, Steve.
They certainly are. And I've got to say, Siddal have defended really well because certainly Westbourne have spent lots of time down here in this half.
So, chance to make it 10 points to 0 here. Harvey Williams. Penalty been given just inside the 20 metre line, would you say, Steve?
Yeah, I think it is, Parker, just to the right hand side.
It's that corridor of uncertainty of a goal kicker, isn't it? Where if you're a proper goal kicker, people expect you to get them every time, but there's always an element where you might not quite get enough of it. So the referee has blown his whistle straight away after the penalty has been kicked. probably the wisest decision.
I think there probably is, Parky.
Just keeping these sides apart. So ultimately, it's just been a tale of one try, hasn't it, this first half? That one going the way of...
was it Greenwood?
Greenwood, yeah. It was a break down the right-hand side, kick towards the middle, Greenwood, and then Williams has kicked the conversion and 2 other penalties. So that makes it 10 points to 0 in favour of Siddal.
Oh, good driving. Really good driving.
He's marched back 15 metres, by the way. Ackroyd picks up at dummy half, spins it into the arms of Milnes, who half makes the break. Offside call. Tell you what, I could nudge another goal over here.
I think they just might do that, Parker. Leading up, swings his leg in, and adds the extras.
12 points to 0. Conversion there from Harvey Williams. 4th goal of the game for him.
Yeah, got to say it's been really spot on, because again the weather is not conducive to really spot on goal kicking, but he's done very well.
Bowling. They're going to look at tapping the ball. 14 minutes gone of the second half. Thanks, Steve, for that one. Here comes Matty Bailey. Bailey to play it on the edge of the 30-metre line. Williams takes over in the middle. Spins it out to Camden. Camden back over his bat, looking for the running out of Lynham, the former Keighley man. Tackled 25 metres out from the line. Into dummy half, moves Archie Helmshaw. Then it's through the hands of Williams again, dropping it back over his shoulder. The 10 metres out from the line here at West Bowling. Looking to apply some pressure. Helmshaw spins it left. Bartle, short ball. On the burst there is Galtris. He's been good since he's gone on as Galtris. On the edge of the try line, into the middle it comes with Williams. Williams, little kick forward. It's kicked on again. Oh, it's nudged forward. Oh, they're after it. As he scored, referee has ruled there's a nudge
first
forward
knock on,
somewhere.
I think.
Yep, first knock on.
It looks like it was first knock on. I don't know who's going to give it to, because there was a little kick in there. It was off legs and then it bounced up.
Listen to this weather, anything can happen. You've got a rugby ball like a bar of soap. It hit the deck. The kick came in. The scrum has gone the way of Siddal. Greenwood complaining. It's a slow play, the ball, this one. Off to the left. Oh, and here is Milnes with the step. Josh Milnes.
Good tackle that.
Fine forward, Josh Milnes. Just shy of the line. Crashing through now. Going over under the post. They're in at Siddal. Harry Georgiou kicks the ball away in delight. He's mobbed by his teammates. I think we're looking at our grand finalists.
I totally agree with you, Park. You've got to say, Georgiou, since he's come on, I mean, he's just chewed up the metres, made himself free, they're available, and has just gone straight in under the sticks.
So Williams directly in front of the post, looking for goal number 5 of his afternoon. This to stretch the host advantage out to 18 points to 0. In he steps, slots the points home. 18 points to 0. Harvey Williams with this attempt on goal. This to push Siddal 20 points clear. Will this be his 5th goal? His 6th goal?
It'll be his 6th.
6th goal. Losing count as he's taking it. The flags are raised. It's 20 points to 0. Ackroyd back over his shoulder, looking for the running of Macaulay Higgins, and Higgins does well, makes an impact. 25 metres out from the line. Can they get over in this set? Ball being spun to the left. Georgiou, lovely pass. Running chance. Oh, he's in! He's in and he's deserved it. Harvey Williams slides his way over. Went between 2 defenders. There was only 2 defenders out there, of course, because of the lack of numbers. The ball reached him in great time, and he showed some real class to finish. So that makes it 24 points to 0, Steve.
Yeah, ball going through hands, which, as I said, from time to time, both sides have tried it. Been a little bit cautious because of the rain, but this time ball going from side to side, the extra men missing just created great gaps, and Williams just flew in there on from that left hand side and has gone just to the left hand side of the post.
So Williams, goal number 7 this?
I think it will be, yeah. Steps
up, right footed. Oh, the flag's raised again. 26 points to 0. Anderson is tackled. The referee's whistle sounds. Siddal are in the final of the National Conference League. They have done it They've took the points on offer when they have been. They've kicked the goals and come away with a deserved 26-0 win.
Now, young Sam, can you hear me?
Yeah.
All right.
So, we've been joined by our special correspondent here, Sam. Sam, you've just seen your Siddal team win 26-0. What did you think?
It was good.
And who do you think the best player was on the pitch?
I think it was Harvey Williams. It was like he made every single kick.
He did. He got 7 goals. He's a really good kicker, isn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah. And he managed to get a try there at the end as well.
Yeah.
Absolutely superb. So will you be going to Featherstone to watch them in the final?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, on. See you later, Sam.
And with that, Sam has left us. Just watch how you go down those steps. We don't want you slipping. Oh, and like that, he's gone, his young Sam. Great to get some reaction on the whistle. Well, that's us done and dusted for this afternoon.
Green cooling keeps the 13 Pro-Am Community Rugby League show cool, even when tackles get heated.
You know, there was some heatedness within that game, wasn't there? Because there was Liam Darville who got sent off following, like a bit of a ding-dong in the middle of the field just before half-time. And then in the second half, there was a couple of sin binnings as well for West Bowling.
Yeah.
They were, it was a very combative sort of game. Perhaps a little bit closer than the scoreline deserved. However, it was also convincing enough for Siddal. And I know I've sort of made, a bit of a... I've kind of digressed a little bit, haven't I? And sort of changed my tune there. But I still stand by it. I think that Siddal were good enough, and they showed why they are the top dogs in the National Conference League.
In the first 10 minutes or so, first 15 minutes or so, West Bowling really put some pressure on. And they just withstood it really, really well. And then when the chance came, they took the chance. That was the key thing. And also managing the game as well. You know, it's easy to say, well, they're going for goal. Why don't they go for a try? That wet weather, anything could have happened. It was an opportunity to get the points. Invariably, if they'd missed, they were going to get the ball back anyway. So it was very, very well managed.
And the field kicking from Greenwood as well. That was belting, wasn't it?
He led them around the field really, really well.
And it's just like they kicked West Bowling into difficult positions that they struggled to get away from. And West Bowling tried the hardest but couldn't replicate that for long enough in the game, could they?
No. The Darville sending off, no, I must admit, I've no qualms with him sending off, but the actual incident, how there wasn't other cards shown to other people was a bit of a mystery, because I don't think he was the only combatant in that melee that ensued. And he missed him when he went off, because as we were saying in commentary, he's a tall lad for the number 6, but he was he couldn't have take the line on and
he was
drop.
He was putting him around, wasn't he, as well? And that link that he had with Williams as his halfback partner, you can tell again from the short amount of time, really, by comparison, that we saw the two of them on the field together, why they've been such a force in the Premier Division this year. As I say, a really worthy victory in the end. For Siddal, and a special little mention there for young Sam at the end, so we've got to tell the tale here, haven't we? So as soon as we turned up, little Sam turns up, and he remembers, because I spoke to him when they played over at Waterhead
Warriors
a couple of months ago, and I was asking him, because I think he was telling me in that game that he was getting the opportunity to go and play out at Headingley. Yeah. So I said, how did you get on? And he goes, I've spoke to you before. I said, you spoke to me. It was Waterhead. And I was impressed with his memory for starters, and then he gave us the guided tour, didn't he? He came up onto Gantry. Yeah. Gave me a new nickname.
Yeah. He said, I'm going to call you Captain. So it's Captain Parkinson from now on.
And I said, I'd never
Sounds
been
like
called.
he sells fish fingers.
I'd never been called Captain before. And I wouldn't even care. I'd had a shave. So I've looked like Captain Birdseye for the last sort of 4 weeks.
Well, the strange thing was, he never let it drop after that. He called you Captain a lot, didn't he? He
came back and he was, all right, Captain.
In fact, if I'm not wrong, when we were in the changing rooms afterwards, when we were trying to get some interviews, we were talking to Kane and Smithies, and I was telling him, because he was hanging around, I said, it's just nickname Parky's Captain. He says, you are. So I said, so I'm not your captain anymore, Sam. Lovely lad.
A young lad that I think will go far within the game. Really, really good lad.
And you could tell everybody knew who he was. And he came up on the gantry. He was with us while we were setting up, and obviously it was still raining quite a lot. And he was talking to us and asking questions. And we said to him, listen, when we start the commentary, you're going to have to go down off the gantry. And he did. He was as good as gold. Came back up a little bit later on.
We did say that we would speak to him right after the final whistle, and back he came. Yep. And that was his lovely little interview piece that he did with myself and Steve. So I think part of his little visit and having him for company, that kind of made my afternoon. To be honest.
And you know what? As much as we're on about, obviously the place as a whole is a really nice place, which it is. It's people like that. You could see how everybody was taking care of him. Everybody was concerned about him, and keeping an eye on him. And he had his little physios top on like his dad's. And lovely lad. And credit to his parents, obviously.
So Sam wasn't the only person that we spoke to after the game. No. Although to be fair, I think these next two will have to go some for beating him. To be fair, as far as interview content is concerned, I was really pleased to catch up with Gaz English after the match, and speak to him about this performance, B, getting to Featherstone, and also C, being a consistent force like they have been for the last 2 years now.
Well, I'm alongside Gaz English. Gaz, you've done it. You're into the National Conference League Premier Division Grand Final. You've really ground out a good win today here against West Bowling.
Yeah, mate. Yeah. I thought we were really good. With conditions, we knew we were going to be set for set. Just who could keep in the game, and I thought the first half, we were brilliant. I thought we just turned them round. As kick chase were really good. We kept putting them in there 20. They couldn't get out. And start season, the goal was to get in the top 4. Then obviously the season goes on, you want top 2. Then once you win it, you just want to get to that final then, don't you? Because for some reason now the league don't mean as much as the grand final. So it's nice winning the league leaders shield, that's good. But we got to the grand final. I just said to the boys then, let's right the wrongs from last year. Obviously we got to the final last year and just come a bit short. So hopefully we can go all the way this time and get the final.
I mean, you said that perhaps it doesn't mean as much getting league leaders, but it shows that you're the most consistent side, and you've done it 2 seasons on the trot in what is a tough competition in National Conference.
Yeah, it's like I say, it's tough home and away. 22 games, your most consistent team for the last 2 years. But then we win the league leader shield. Yeah, it is good to win the league leader shield, but then obviously the big day is the grand final. Everybody wants to get there. Everybody that's in that 6 wants to get to that grand final and win it, don't they? Last year Hunslet did the job on us in the final, and fair play to them. I'm no harsh about that. They were the best team on the day, but this time we've got there. We just want to try and do the rights now and get it right and get over the line and get that winners in grand final.
In a perverse way, are you glad that Hunslet are winning this playoffs this time?
No, I'm letting somebody else have a go this year. They've had a good stint here. Last year they come from 4th, and the ground, the timing's right. The last month of the season are absolutely outstanding. The playoffs, I watched them over at West Hull, and they were brilliant over at West Hull, and then against us the second half, they just got us in second half. So, no, anybody who gets in this 6 can win it. I said that when we got in. I said anybody in this 6 will win it, and anybody in these last 4 that are in now, obviously the West Hull game's ongoing. Whoever wins that goes to bowling. I couldn't pick a winner. Anyway. I think the top 4 that are left in now are really good sides, so I wouldn't like to say who will get to the final now.
You've had 2 classic games against bowling. Like you say, you've had to win it a different way today, because conditions just take over, don't they, at this sort of stage? It's weather for water polo rather than rugby, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. I mean, the weather was bad, but the pitch held up really well. To be fair, there were no grease or mud on it. It were good. We just practiced that. We knew we were going to be bad this week. Obviously, it's a weird league, isn't it? They call it summer rugby. You get to main games at season, it's always in winter, isn't it? So you've got to get used to it. So we've got to do the rights, get the wrongs right this time. Like last year, we probably tried to play too much rugby at the end of the season, where you just got to really grind them out when it's like this. And obviously at Featherstone on that hill, it's just a grind, isn't it? Pitches cutting up. There's been a game on before, we kind of hope the conference to get somewhere different than Featherstone, but obviously it is what it is, and we'll go there in 2 weeks and hopefully get over the line this time.
I want to come back to something that you said before about hitting your strides at the right time of the year. I mean, you're doing this without, perhaps you're one of your key halfbacks that you've had all season, so that you must be, even more proud of their efforts over the last sort of month or so.
Yeah. Well, we lost Harry against Thatto. Obviously, massive blow. Him and Christian been halfbacks all year. We tried a couple of different stuff. It didn't really work, and then today we just nailed it. We just Dewsbury Moor, we practiced it a bit and it looked good over at Dewsbury. We played some nice stuff. Then again today we scored, even though the weather were atrocious, we scored 2 beautiful tries. I just thought it's worked. We've worked on it for 2 weeks and it's worked well. It still needs working on, don't get me wrong, but now we've got like another 2 weeks now to try and perfect it and make it a little bit better than what it was today.
And what I liked as well was the fact that you had Harry nudging over those goals as well at regular intervals, because they can have a hell of an impact on a team, can't they, at this sort of stage of the year?
Yeah, normally all playoff games are really tight, aren't they? So 2 points here, 2 points there can win or lose you the game, and West Bowling, a bit of ill discipline from them, which is unlike them really. I think they're not normally that kind of team. They're not normally give penalties where you normally work for every point off them. In this conditions, you just got to keep taking a two, and you're taking a two, and I think we ended up with 4 penalties and end up and then a couple of tries, and it just gets away from you, doesn't it? You go 6 to 8 to 10 to 12. It's the game's slowly getting away, and it's just putting more pressure on them. So we could just keep playing our calm game, but they've got to try and throw it about a bit more in bad conditions. So that's what that was the mindset behind that. Just keep taking a two, keep putting the pressure on them, keep the scoreboard building.
I know that you'd be keen to, obviously praise those big fellas in the middle who carry you forward. Georgie was fantastic off the bench. Starting props really, really set the lead. We kind of picked out Jamie Greenwood though because of his kicking game in the main and the way that he just sort of tempered everything down again and made it simple.
Yeah, he's great kicking out of 9. Is Jamie. He's got a lovely boot on him, and I just thought that was a good. They were kicking game in the left and the right channels. We just chased the ball really hard, and every time they were getting ball, they were coming from their 10, their 15, and it's a long way to go down that field. It's a massive field. So I just thought, Jamie's kicking out of 9 were brilliant today, but the chase made it an even better kick because we just kept pinning him in there 10, there 20, and it would play 3-4 by the time their big boys had got back behind ball. So no, that was part of the tactics. Just go as long as we can and just try and make, because we knew today nobody was going to go 90, 100 yards today. It's not the conditions, is it, to throw a ball from left to right, so we knew we could just get in the grind and kick it long and pin them in the areas they don't want to be in and try and just tire them out.
Gaz, thank you so much. I'll go and let you enjoy this one. Thank you.
Thank you.
Every tackle, every try, every scrum. Green Cooling is proud to be part of the Community Rugby League family.
Gotta say, Gaz English, every time we speak to him, I always get a cracking interview from him. He's a lovely bloke. We were having a chat there when we first got there with him and the chairman as well. And he's just one of those guys who just gets what we were about, doing, and is really, really gracious with his time and his interviews, and absolutely wonderful guy. And you can see why people want to play rugby for him, can't you?
And he took the time to explain to us a little bit about those tactics, about the kicking game, about the nudging over the penalties when they did to keep things ticking over. And like he was saying, there was no way that anybody was going to be running tries in from distance there. I just thought it was a really, really good way to manage the game, and I thought every single squad member played the part, didn't they?
They certainly did. And Sam was saying there about the halfback who's missing. If you remember last year, Lewis Osty was the man, wasn't he?
And he's been missing for over half the season this time round.
I think we saw him at Water Edwin was there, and I think he'd only just come back then as well, hadn't he?
Yeah.
So, but they didn't look as though they were missing him at all in that respect. Williams put in the goals over, so there's a good replacement there from a points machine, as it were.
From a West Bowling point of view, they're still not out of the competition, are they? So they go on to now host an elimination semi-final. We'll go through who actually made it through to them in just a minute. What did you make of them, and do you think that they can recover enough to make the final?
Yes, I do. What they've got to do in the main, first and foremost, is they've got to have a full complement of players on the pitch. That didn't help them at all.
I mean, you did hear Gaz say there that wasn't normally what sort of game you're drawn into against a West Bowling side. We know from reading enough of these match reports that we do and sort of going through the amount of scorers, they have a winger what scored 23 tries and they couldn't get the ball to him in any sort of space, and it wasn't really a winger's sort of game, was it, on Saturday? And whilst I agree with you, you know, in the fact that, when they got reduced by men, that didn't help their cause at all and probably sealed their fate in a lot of ways. It's not usually been a problem for them throughout the season, so I think it was isolated rather than a regular occurrence.
As I was saying, from that first sort of 10-15 minutes when they put some real pressure on.
Yeah, they were good.
Both sides initially, like you said, were it was in the forwards till they got that little bit of confidence of, right, we can move this out to the right or move it out to the left. Both sides were like that, but same as I say, I think just when they certainly lost Darvel, and he was kept on coming in that centre's position and filling in the, sort of like making the extra man, as it were. And when they lost that threat, I think they were really up against it. Obviously, they're up against it numbers-wise, but I mean, when you look at it logically as well, they had 2 tries scored against them. The rest were penalties, which were all taken well by Harvey Williams. So, as much as it's a big score,
there's still in a lot of ways not that much between those two sides, really.
No, and the playoff semi-final is going to be a great encounter. Obviously, they've got home advantage this time as well.
And that might make all the difference, might it? That's another fantastic place. That next season we're going to have to go over to West Bowling and Bradford Park Avenue where they play, which is absolutely brilliant as a venue. Right, so we've had the coaches' thoughts, we've had the thoughts of the young fan. Let's have one of the players, shall we? And stepping forward to have his chat with us was Jamie Greenwood.
Okay, delighted to be alongside Jamie Greenwood. Jamie, what was that game like to play in? You've won 26-0, you're into the grand final again for a second year on it.
Yeah, it was great, mate. It's just what we've been working on and we've been building for the last probably 4 to 6 weeks now, playing for a full 80 minutes, and that's probably the only time we've done it, maybe at second all year, that we've played from minute 1 to minute 8 and stuck what Ingy and Jake told us to do.
Are those sort of wins the most sort of satisfying? Because like the days when everybody's got a graft, aren't they?
Yeah, especially in them big games, especially in a derby too. It's to keep them to 0, that were his main thing before the game, and we've done it. So lads are buzzing and we're happy, and then we can have a week off next week.
Because you've had 2 really close games with them over the course of the season, haven't you? I believe it was 1 apiece heading into this one, and you've won quite resoundingly today.
Yeah, they're obviously they're a good side, and they're most likely probably going to play them in 2 weeks' time. Bowling, they'll probably win at home. So yeah, it's just about resting up now, and then we'll go again in 2 weeks.
I want to ask a little bit about your role as well, because you had almost like a split role where you did like half at 9, half at 6 or 7, and getting your kicking game going, because we picked you out as our man of the match in our commentary. I don't know how that makes you feel, but we sort of highlighted that.
Yeah. Well, yeah, Ingy and Jake said, obviously, when we lost Osti at the beginning of the year, we were down a full-back, and then Milnesy got injured a couple of weeks back, so Jake said to me, "Are you okay?" Basically attacking at 9 and then dropping into half-back when we need you. So I said, I'll do whatever it takes to make sure it works. So yeah, I enjoyed it, and then hopefully it happens again in 2 weeks and it works.
I bet you're cutting down your tackling stint as well in doing that too.
Yeah, I enjoyed it out wide a little bit. I could come in and out of game a little bit and float around, so yeah, it was good. I enjoyed it.
But it is really good, and with this pack that you've got here at Siddal, it's always going to carry you forward, isn't it?
Yeah, that's probably the first time we've probably had everyone available, obviously bar injuries. And it's only good for Jake, and then you've got to make some tough decisions. But yeah, it's the first time we've probably had everyone fit and available who's not injured. So yeah, it was good that.
And I know perhaps there's not as much focus on finishing league leaders, but you've done it 2 seasons on the trot. So for me, you're the best side in the comp, and the most consistent anyway.
Yeah, it takes some doing. Every week it's a tough league. is the top league, and to do it week in, week out, and get up there and stay at the top as well. Everyone wants to knock you off, especially from winning it last year. Obviously got pipped by Hunslet, who were really good last year, so we hopefully can go one further and hopefully we'll win it this year.
So who would you prefer to play in the final? Probably I'm putting you on the spot here now.
I've got a few mates at bowling who they came second, and they probably deserve to be there over the full year, so it'd be nice to have a derby in final and a different team.
Yeah, because you said this a couple of times, and obviously you tell me my accent, I'm not from around these parts, so what does it mean, sort of playing in the derby matches? Are they the stuff that you look forward to?
Yeah, well, growing up, mate, I've not been a part of many. There's not many Halifax teams they don't have many, and there's no NTL teams apart from us, so this is very rare. I've played in a derby, so to get an Halifax Bradford game on, and it probably gets best crowd as well, so yeah, it was quality at their ground, and same again here, so hopefully it's them again.
And perhaps a word about the crowd as well, because they've turned out good numbers, the atmosphere which they had out, and I could hear it all beneath where we was.
Yeah, it was good. It was same at their place. I think there were over 1,000 people at bowling, so hopefully we can replicate what happened today. There were loads here, and they always get behind us. Siddal, there's always loads down here, so hopefully they can get to Fev and go one better.
Cheers, Jamie, appreciate you, mate.
Alright, mate, thank you.
From players, referees and competitions to clubs and playing fields, we talk about the lot on the 13 Pro-Am Community Rugby League Show.
There you go, that's Jamie Greenwood speaking to Parky, of course, and just got to mention, he's talking about Jake and Inge. Inge obviously is Gareth English, but Jake is Jake Connor, obviously of Leeds Rhinos fame as we know him for. But we've got to say, he just slots in there as just another one of the lads, doesn't he?
He does,
really genuine lad. I've got to say, no edge about him. In fact, I went to the van, if you remember, I went to pick something up for the van to fetch back, and young Sam was actually in the car park, and you can imagine there was a lot of traffic knocking about, and Jake was going to his car at the time, and obviously he's just a little bit concerned about Sam, and he shouted, "Sam, just watch yourself there, son." And I thought, do you know what? That's absolutely superb. He's just taking the time to look after a kid. No edge about him, absolutely. And I know he gets raw end of the stick from when he's obviously from his Super League side of things. But I've got to take my hats off to him and say he's absolutely cracking lad.
So that was the day that was probably the wettest day that we've ever had broadcasting anywhere. I'm not joking when I've said to Steve it's took until last night. So we're recording this on Wednesday night, not giving any secrets away, but I am. And it took until last night for my bag to dry out from the weekend, to be honest. And I've had all sorts by the radiators over the last couple of days. But fantastic win that for Siddal, getting them into the National Conference League Grand Final. Who are they going to meet though? Well, it's all dependent on who manages to win in the second semi-final. But who was going there? Well, it was West Hull up against Thatto Heath Crusaders. West Hull set up a trip to bowling in a battle of the Wests for the second qualifying semi-final, with a strong defensive display and clinical finishing in the second half against Thatto Heath Crusaders. The first half was fiercely contested, neither side able to find a breakthrough. Thatto's pack was led by Andy Lee, and it worked tirelessly, but West's defensive organisation kept them at bay. The deadlock was finally broken on 50 minutes when Eli Wilkinson touched down, giving the Green and Golds the lead at the end. As the game moved into the last quarter, Jacob Moore then extended the advantage with a second try. Wilkinson converted, and with Thatto forced to chase the game, gaps began to open, and Wilkinson struck again 10 minutes from time, improving his own try to round off a third win of the season for West Hull over Thatto Heath Crusaders. Try scorers in that one in a 16-0 success. Wilkinson with 2, Moore with 1, and goals from the boot of Wilkinson, who added 2. No points for Thatto Heath, and it ends the season that for Thatto Heath. Do you think ultimately they'll be disappointed that it hasn't resulted in them going a little bit further, or do you see this as a season of progression?
I see this as a season of progression, to tell you the truth, because I think the last couple of seasons they've sort of like it's been a bit of a wet lettuce sort of were they flattered to deceive sort of thing. I think this season You see some of the rugby that they've played, and I think just some of their away form has let them. Sorry, some of the away form has let them down, because we've said at times it's like two different teams.
Yeah. I do think over the last 6 or 7 weeks, though, they've actually, the real Thatto has turned up, hasn't it? There's been some consistency in the teams that Mike Wood has been able to pick. And what do you make of West Hull? Because they're always thereabouts, aren't they? And they get themselves in great positions year in, year out. Remember, they've had a big change in coaching this season, and to be fair, they've done all right, haven't they?
They have, and they've always been thereabouts, like they have. We've seen them, and certainly some of the junior ranks over the years as well have always been healthy, as it were. Obviously they're going to be up against West Bowling now. It's a battle of the Wild West, as you might say, coming up. And you can't write them out of it. You certainly can't write them out of it, because you're talking there about they won at Thatto Heath.
So you're not sounding quite as confident as Jamie Greenwood in thinking that it's going to be another derby in the final.
And the other thing is, West will have experience of this knockout, sort of style, and getting there to the finals. West Bowling, are not, as much as they've been there or thereabouts. It's still finishing it off and getting to the final, isn't it?
That's going to be a game coming up on Saturday. That's the final qualifying semi-final between West Bowling and West Hull. But what else happened? Let's drop into Division 1 of the National Conference League. And Steve, you've got our first report.
Yeah, Oldham St Anne's, they were were up against Wigan St Jude's, and a bit of an odd one, this, really, wasn't it? It was a loose forward. Matt Whitehead played a starring role with a try and 5 goals. Yes, as Oldham St Anne's clinched their spot in the promotion playoffs with a convincing victory over newly crowned champions Wigan St Jude's. The result was significant from the Oldham outfit, who not only ensured a 6th place finish, the qualifying position, but also leapfrogged Shawcross Sharks into 5th after the Sharks' defeat at Kells. Jude's had already guaranteed top spot and automatic promotion, and were denied an 11th straight win and the double over St Anne's, having beaten them 42 points to 24 in Wigan earlier in the year. St Anne's looked composed and in control from the outset. Connor Rose opened the scoring after 14 minutes, before Whitehead crossed 9 minutes later when Michael Cassin added a 3rd try just after the half hour. Whitehead's immaculate goal kicking had his side up 18 points to 0. Jude's it back through standout performer Joey Brady, who barged over in the 32nd minute and had an ult converting to cut the interval deficit to 18 points to 6. But Oldham kept their composure in heavy conditions. A Whitehead penalty early in the second half steadied things before Aidan Howard's 60th minute try, again improved by Whitehead. It sealed the win on a rain-sodden afternoon where angling errors were frequent. So tries for St Anne's were Rose, Whitehead, Cassin and Howarth, and it was 5 from 5 goals-wise from Whitehead. For Jude's, single try coming from Brady, which was converted by Holt. Got to say, Parker, we were talking about this last week, if you remember, and I said I wonder if Jude's would play a weak inside. When I say weak inside, whether they give others who haven't played, sort of majority of the season. It'd be interesting to see what team they actually had out.
It was a good team. It was a good team that they put out. I just say all credit to Oldham St Anne's. Yeah. Again, we've talked a lot about Wigan St Jude's great season. Stepping up from Division 2, getting promoted from Division 1. But it's no mean feat to actually make the playoffs, which is what Oldham St Anne's have done this season. And fair play to the hard work that squad has come up with all the way through the season. For me, it's good to see. It's nice to see other teams that are also on the rise through the National Conference League. And it's certainly something that I hope continues in the future, and for years and years to come, to be fair. Right, I'm going to pick up now with Heworth. So basically they also had to secure promotion. They were up against Ince Rose Bridge as far as promotion were concerned. And
automatic promotion.
Promotion. So anything that Heworth did, it meant that it had to be bettered. So if Heworth got a draw, then Ince Rose Bridge needed to win. If Heworth lost, Ince Rose Bridge needed to win. A win at all costs for Heworth meant that they would get promoted. They were up against already relegated Woolston Rovers and won by 48 points to 8. So Heworth confirmed their return to the Premier Division with a dominant home display over already relegated Woolston. The York side, who had surprisingly been edged out 34-32 in Warrington earlier in the season, made sure of second spot with what turned out to be a polished display. Early tries from Liam Richmond and Fraser West, both converted by Jack Sadler, put Heworth 12-0 up. Woolston responded though through Harry Files, which was improved by Ryan Brown, before a Brown penalty on the stroke of half-time narrowed the gap to 12-8 at the break. But Heworth's second half was irresistible. Richmond's came up with a second, plus further scores from George Burton and Billy Sturdy. That put them in control. And then in the final quarter, George Elliott ran riot with a hat-trick, adding a conversion for good measure, while Richmond also completed his hat-trick, and Sadler added his fifth goal. So, it finished 48 points to 8 in favour of Heworth. Tries for Heworth, 3 for Richmond, 3 for Elliott, 1 each for West, Burton and Sturdy, with goals split between Sadler with 5, Elliott with 1 for Woolston. That lone try from Files, and the 2 goals coming from the boot of Brown. Great result and a deserved promotion for Heworth.
Yeah, very much so. I mean, we spoke about them coming up on the sort of outside from use an horse racing analogy halfway through the season, and suddenly became sort of the ones to beat, as it were. Ince Rose Bridge had stuttered a little bit, and we'd mentioned that, so it was always sort of a battle for that. That second spot. Congratulations to you. It's great for having back in the Prem. But for Ince Rose Bridge, they were up against the other Warrington side, who were unfortunately being relegated. That was Crossfields, and they extended their winning streak to 6 matches and underlined the promotion credentials with a 10-try demolition of relegated Crossfields, who slumped to their 8th defeat. Wigan side ran in 6 tries before the break, with Jack Eaton 2, Callum Rogers, Brad Birch, TJ Boyd and Casey Shaw all crossing, Mason Fillingham adding 3 goals and Eli Steinberg 1 goal, added the extras from a commanding 32 points to 0 lead. Crossfields did get on the board before the interval through Bobby Hill, improved by Nathan Taylor, but Ince showed no mercy in the second half. Eaton completed his hat-trick, Rogers grabbed 2 more to take his tally to 3, and Boyd added his second. Fillingham kicked his 4th goal to complete the rout. For Ince Rose Bridge, scorers down were 3 for Eaton, 3 for Rogers, 2 for Boyd, 1 for Birch and 1 for Shaw. Goals came from 4 for Fillingham and 1 for Steinberg. Meanwhile, Crossfield's solitary try came from Hill, which was converted by Taylor. So even though they racked up the points, because Heworth had obviously won their game, still fell a little bit short, but going to the playoffs, obviously, with home advantage.
Yeah, with home advantage, and in some really good form as well, to be fair, Steve. So let's see whether they can get the job done this season, shall we? Over at Stanningley, they were already secure in 4th spot, and they edged out Wigan St Pat's in a low-scoring tussle in a wet Leeds. The visitors needed victory and a favour from St Jude's to sneak into the playoffs, but neither went their way. After a scoreless first half, Pats took the lead on 55 minutes when Dean Zammett powered over, Jack Sproke converting. The host then hit back through Jack Sykes, converted by Adam Butterill, before Sykes struck again 4 minutes later. Butterill's second goal sealed a hard-earned 12-6 success. So a reminder, 2 tries from Stanningley's Sykes, 2 goals from Butterill, and for Wigan St Pat's, that lone try from Zammett, and the goal from Sprout. So disappointing end to Wigan St Pat's, a season that started fairly brightly, kind of fizzed a bit. They got into a playoff position and then it kind of fizzled out.
Yeah, very much so. But they're moving in the right direction.
They are.
In the sense of
definitely moving in the right direction.
Where the club as a whole were a couple of seasons ago, it was sort of certainly downhill, as it were.
And even just 12 months ago, to be honest. So I think, they'll see it overall as a successful season. Stanley, I like their approach.
Yeah.
I think that they're going to be a good team in this playoff, series. I won't put it past them to win their way to Featherstone and then see what happens, to be fair.
Meanwhile, Kells there were get up against Shawcross Sharks, and Kells ended their campaign strongly with a third successive win, though they missed out on the playoffs by just 2 points. The win also denied Shawcross Sharks, who slipped from 5th to 6th, momentum heading into the knockout stages. The Cumbrians led 18 points to 8 at half-time through 2 tries by Harry Watson, a further touchdown from Ashton Sykes and 3 goals from Ross Gainford. Shawcross stayed in touch through Louis Fisher scoring 2 tries and Isaac Murray, with Evan Stevenson adding a goal. The game remained in the balance until the 73rd minute when Ryan Starkey struck for Kells, confirming the victory. So the final score, 2 tries from Watson for Kells and 2 tries for Watson. Sykes and Starkey also adding tries, with Gainford getting 3 goals. For Shawcross, it was 2 tries for Fisher, 1 for Murray and 1 goal for Stevenson. Final score, Kells 22, Shawcross Sharks 14.
Good win that for Kells.
Very much, I agree.
I'm pleased to see that they finished the season, on a high, and they'll certainly fancy the chances next season. Although they are going to have to go away and do some work in the close season. For Shawcross, the season goes on, like you mentioned. They're now 6th within the division, and they'll play off this coming weekend at Ince Rose Bridge. So again, for a promoted side, they've done particularly well.
Yeah.
They've finished in a playoff position.
They've not looked out of position.
They
in this
haven't
league,
looked out of place at all. Sadly, a side that is losing its place within the division is Alton Raiders, but they have dipped out of this league on a high. They defeated Egremont Rangers by 34 points to 0. Already relegated Alton finished by stringing back-to-back wins together. A convincing shutout of Egremont Rangers, who ended their own season with 3 consecutive defeats. Alton were dominant from the off, leading 22 points to 0 at half-time, thanks to 2 tries from the evergreen Adrian Holdsworth. Further scores by Tom Stevens, Jacob Griffin and Bailey Metcalf. In the second half, both Stevens and Griffin completed their doubles, with Archie Craggs adding 2 goals and Griffin adding the final conversion to seal the 34 points to 0 whitewash. So a reminder of those tries for Alton. Holdsworth grabbed 2, Stevens grabbed 2, Griffin grabbed 2, Metcalf was the other scorer, with those goals split between Craggs with 2 and Griffin with 1. Egremont not troubling the scorers. Quick mention here for a guy that I spent quite a bit of time with last year with the England Community Lions. That's Matty Stableford, a really, really top class guy who has given his all for Alton Raiders. Got selected for the Community Lions, did tremendously well when we were over there in Perth last year. He's announced his retirement now, so my best of wishes to him as he looks forward to the next chapter. I know in the last 12 months he's got married, and he's got his lovely family to sort of look after, and I wish him all the success in the world moving forward. Stabs, it's been a delight to just play just that little part in your career, mate, but do enjoy your retirement, and I wish you and your family all the best for the future.
Yeah, it's a nice way to finish there for Alton. As I was saying during the season, when I saw them at Ince Rose Bridge, even though they got beat, you could see there's some fight in there and some spirit, and that doesn't surprise me. From an Egremont point of view, I think they're just glad to see the back of this season and see. Let's get together and see what next season holds.
I mean, again, they've stabilised, haven't they? We've talked at times, or I certainly have, about the amount of players that they've lost, particularly over the last sort of 18 months with regards to injuries and things like that, all around the club. So it is great to see them, coming back and having an impact within the division. But like you said, they'll probably be a little bit disappointed with how their season's finished. But there's next year to build for, isn't there?
Yeah, there certainly is. Next season, of course, we're talking about a different team coming up, and that's East Leeds, who were finishing off the final round of the Division 2, and they were up against the Hull Dockers. And champions East Leeds closed out a remarkable season in emphatic style, running in 90 points against an understrength Hull Dockers side to finish with a perfect 100% record on a points total of 1,090 for the year. East, who lifted the trophy post-match from long-serving NCL figure Trevor Hunt, were rampant from the start. Jake Normington, making his final appearance before taking over as club chairman, crossed twice. Kieran Brining was unstoppable with 5 tries, while Isaac Coleman helped himself to an hat-trick. Jordan Russell bagged a brace, and there was singles for Adam Gibbons, Elliot Winley, Owen Hughes and Luke Littlewood, who also knocked over 13 goals for a personal tally of 34 points. Dockers, who had been beaten 70 points to 4 on the home turf early in the campaign, travelled short-handed with only 11 players, including coach Gareth Fox, and lost further momentum when Kai Bartlett was sin-binned for a professional foul. The sole score came via an Ollie Agar penalty. East already 68 points to 0 up at half-time before the match was cut short on the hour. So tries there from Brining 5, Coleman 3, Normington 2, Russell 2, Gibbons, Winley, Hughes and Littlewood. 13 goals for Littlewood. For Hull Dockers, it was the single penalty for Agar.
So a fantastic season overall for East Leeds, and that report is actually just a little bit not quite there, because certainly Jake Normington has been performing chairman duties there for a few weeks now after being unanimously voted to become the new chairman there, and you'll be able to hear an extended interview with him. We've got a real special piece. It was a delight to catch up with him earlier in the week, all about this East Leeds side and all about the plans that he's got for the future, for the club moving forward, and just generally saluting this side, because I mean it's very rare that we have got to comment about a team that has been so dominant.
Yeah.
They've been fantastic, haven't they?
Yeah, and I'm very, very keen to see them next season up against, obviously, more tougher opposition, because that's what you want. You want to see that they've pushed all to one side this season, haven't they? I mean,
they have.
And it's going to be good seeing them coming up against some, obviously, like we've been saying, the beauty of the NCL is you get 3 up, 3 down, so 50% of the teams change. So they're going to have teams that are in there that are ones who have been like established Division 1 sides, and then you're going to have teams in there that have just come down from the Prem. Mm-hmm. So even though they've come down, they're established, and hardened. So it's going to be really good watching them.
As for Hull Dockers, it's a shame to hear them finish with just being able to call up 11 players, 10 if we discount the coach which played. I certainly hope that they are able to get a lot more players through, and that they're able to, come back and use it as a springboard.
Yeah. It's got to be said that when you know my feelings on we talk about player safety, etc., and having to play a game of so that not so much importance, don't get me wrong, the writing was on the wall for Hull Dockers anyway, but it's it makes you think, should that game have been played in that respect? I don't know personally, but you've got to take your hat off to East Leeds. They've played what's in front, and they've put the points on the board.
Another side that has put the points on the board this season, and more impressively not conceded so many, is Dewsbury Celtic, and they had another 0 to their name. They held Barrow Island to win 28 points to 0. Second place Dewsbury Celtic sealing the runners-up honours, ending the regular season with their 4th successive victory, shutting out Barrow Island as well in a clinical display. Celtic had to work for a 16-8 success away in Barrow earlier in the campaign, but this time round they were far more authoritative. Lewis Teal crossed for 2 first half tries, while Jordan Hurst added a try and goal to establish a 14-0 interval lead. In the second half, Joe Mitchell grabbed a brace of tries to stretch the advantage before Billy Yarrow touched down late on to round off proceedings. Charlie Heaton converted the final try to cap a composed performance, while fullback Louis Regan shone for Barrow Island, who had travelled with a squad of 15. But the Cumbrians' defeat meant they missed out on a playoff berth. Instead, Normanton Knights claimed 6th spot and will travel to Pilks Rex in Saturday's semi-final, while Clock-faced Miners will host Hensingham in the other tie. Reminder of those scores there for Dewsbury Celtic: 2 tries from Teal, 2 tries from Mitchell, 1 from Hurst and 1 from Yarrow. Goal split between Hurst and Heaton in a 28-0 success against Barrow Island. They've been fantastic this season, Dewsbury Celtic. They deserve a lot of credit themselves, don't they, the way that they've handled themselves. They've been far and away the second best side in that comp, and that is no mean feat.
No, not at all. I've got to mention there as well, it says that Barrow Island travelled with a full squad of 15, but I believe they only got their lead, didn't they?
They did, yes. Their coach broke down as well.
They've had no luck.
They have had no luck. This was guaranteed to be one of those games that was perhaps destined never to be played.
Yeah.
But fair play to them.
Yep.
They managed to get down there to Dewsbury Celtic. They did complete their fixtures. Again, these fixtures had to be completed because there was still an outside chance that Barrow Island could make the 6, although it was an outside chance. Yeah. And Dewsbury Celtic just coming up with a professional performance, a clinical performance, and another shutout victory. Scott Dyson's done a fantastic job there, hasn't he?
Yeah.
With his squad.
Yeah, definitely. Defensively, they're a great team to watch, I must admit.
And certainly one of the guys that we've been talking about throughout the season has been Hurst. You know, we mention him nearly every week. Yeah. I think he scored something like 17 tries, kicked 70-odd goals. He's been thereabouts all the way through the year, hasn't he? A brilliant season for Dewsbury Celtic. They'll be a right benefit and bonus to Division 1 next season.
Yeah. Another team that are going to be good to watch, because from a defensive point of view, as he's saying,
you've got to work hard, haven't you?
Yeah, and you know what? It's one of those teams. I love the kit as well, because obviously it's got the Celtic hoops that they play. Oh yeah, really nice.
So that does mean that our next round of fixtures are fully playoff ready. We're playoff ready, Steve.
Playoff ready.
Yes,
okay.
we've already been to the Division 3 playoff final. We've already seen Lee East secure a spot in Division 2 next season alongside Saddleworth and alongside Keighley Albion. Who will go up from Division 2? You know, we've already talked about, a dominant East Leeds side, 22 wins out of 22 games. We've already talked about a side, perhaps the toughest side to score points against in certainly a number of years at NCL level, in Dewsbury Celtic. But we have Pilkington Rex up against Normanton Knights, and we've got Clockface Miners up against Hensingham for the honours of who will go and play against each other in the final. I think we've got 2 great games coming up there, Steve.
We certainly have. And you know what? They're not givens either, because they are playoffs. I think certainly I'm saying away sides raise the game. I mean, I think all sides raise the game. But I think, from normally when you would go to an away match, don't get me wrong, I know you want to win, but I think there's that just a little bit more edge.
A bit more of an edge.
Yeah. And obviously there's something riding on the game at the end of the day. There's that trip to Featherstone. It's not for them, is it?
It's not for them.
It's against the home side.
No, so in Division 2, it is going to stick to the previous rule in the highest placed side that qualifies for the final will host the final. So, it's, you'd fancy Pilks because of the perhaps form throughout the majority of the season, wouldn't you, against Normanton? But as you mentioned, that's no given either.
No. I agree with you. I think Pilks, they play their pitch at home really, really well. We've seen that. The other game, Clockface Minings and Enzingham, they played only a couple of weeks ago, and that was
a close one, wasn't it?
Really close. So, as I said, with there being an edge on this, something on it at the end of the day, it's going to be a really good match. And
is that where we could possibly see you this weekend?
That's where I will be this weekend. Yeah.
Looking forward to hearing the fallout from that one.
I think it's only courteous that we go to one of those two matches, but simply because with their final being played on the same day, obviously we'll be over at Featherstone for the first and the Premier and the First Division finals. We won't be able to cover that one, but I'll be down there to cast an eye over, see how Clockface and Enzingham go on.
Now, we've already touched upon the Division 1 fixtures as well, haven't we? So 3rd place Ince Bridge will host 6th place Shawcross Sharks, while Stanningley in 4th will host 5th place Oldham St Anne's. Again, 2 cracking games there potentially, Steve.
Yeah. If Ince Bridge play to the strategies that they can play.
Strategies?
Yeah, you know.
You know what? You're using some proper language over the last couple of weeks.
We know Ince Bridge used the winger absolutely superb and put
strategies conducive.
Yeah. Oh, I tell you. Captain.
You've swallowed a dictionary or certainly a thesaurus. I thought that was a dinosaur.
A thesaurus. I can tell you, Shawcross Sharks are certainly going to be up against Ince Bridge. It's going to that's one where I think there'll be a big crowd there. But I think, it's going to be a struggle, that one.
And we've already sort of spoken about the Premier Division final eliminator. It's had 3 different names, this semi-final, to be honest, but it is the final eliminator, really, isn't it? Because a battle of the wild west, and we will see whether it's going to be West Bowling or West Hull that make their way to Featherstone for the National Conference League final. Premier Division final.
That is going to be a good one. Couldn't call that one. Couldn't call it at all. As I say, West will feel confident that he can do it. West Hull will feel confident they can do it. Bowling, will that defeat take anything out to them at all? Hopefully not. Just have to keep an eye on that one on the weekend as well.
Can't wait. Should be a cracking weekend, Steve. The final furlong.
It's the final countdown.
It's the final countdown. Back at Siddal again. Absolutely fantastic. We hope once again that you've enjoyed this show. We love bringing it to you. And although our season is coming to an end, it's not quite there yet. So we'll sign off for another week. Thank you very much as ever. Thank you to Gaz English. Thank you to Jamie Greenwood. Thanks to everyone at the Siddal Club. Special mention to my co-captain. That's Ste Beech, and a special mention to young Sam as well. Do remember, keep your ears open. You'll have another special episode heading your way towards the end of the week. That is our featured interview with Jake Normington, and I can't wait for you to hear that. We'll be back again next week. Thanks again.
Every tackle, every try, every scrum. Green Cooling is proud to be part of the Community Rugby League family.